Okay, let me see. Tell me if that pops up for you. Okay, I think I've got it. Sorry about that. Let me share my screen for you. Okay, now that we're good 8 minutes behind and everything is up and running, I wanted today to have everyone have a chance to hear about the new rules, answer any questions that you guys might have, talk about kind of the short-term process and what we're going to do as it relates to the getting everything ready for 2024. I know there are things that need to happen in 2023, so you are all prepared for 2024. And so we'll talk about that tentative short-term plan. And then we'll talk about, I'll show you some pictures of the development of the sponsor portal that we're going to be rolling out at the end of this year. And then we'll talk about having another one of these meetings in a month or two that we can walk through the portal and start to get everybody added in and get everything going. So generally speaking, there was a 2-year review process from the CLE board to look at the CLE rules to try to find a way to make them more efficient for lawyers, for sponsors, and for the CLE board and staff. Part of the changes that we were really looking at were, whether the technology has advanced in a way from since we, first adopted these rules, which essentially hadn't changed much since the rules were adopted in the 80s. Whether the annual report process was still useful, whether the attendance fee model was still useful and efficient for us to use with 30,000 lawyers instead of, closer to 10 or 15,000 that were licensed back in the 80s. And so after this process and numerous publications in the State Bar Journal and through the State Bar Council and edits and changes, we've finally come to a set of approved rules that will become effective March 1st, 2024. You can find the rules on our website, ncbar.gov, in the rules section. They are already in the governing rules. You can, with a note that says that these are not being, enforced or effective until March of 2024. There's also a link to the old text of the rule if you want to look at what the current rules are. Lawyers requirements for 2023 have not changed. There's still 12-hour requirements with an annual report process due at the end. But beginning March 1st, 2024, we've got some significant changes that we're going to be rolling out. And so I'm going to give you a summary of the overall changes, and then we'll talk about how, the ones that are specific to sponsors. And if you have questions, either in Zoom or on YouTube, you can put them in the chats. We're going to try to monitor those and answer those either as they are relevant or at the end and answer them there. And then we'll schedule another time for us to meet in a few months or a month or two. So here's the general, the overall big changes. The first change is the elimination of that annual of the attendance fee, that $350 per hour attendance fee that sponsors and lawyers were having to pay after completing a course. The move there instead is to an annual attendance fee that's paid by lawyers every year, and a course application fee that's going to be submitted by sponsors when they apply for accreditation for a course. And we'll go into some detail there here in a minute. We're also moving to a 2-year reporting period. So instead of a 1-year 12-hour requirement for lawyers are now going to have 2 years to complete 24 hours in whatever manner they'd like to complete. They could do 15 hours in 1 year, 9 in the next. They could do all 24 hours in 1 year and none in the next year. This gives lawyers some flexibility. Some years for lawyers are busier than others. They might have a lot of trials or a lot of cases or personal matters that are interfering with their ability to do CLE, and this gives them that 2-year period to complete CLE. We are going to stagger this so half of the lawyers are due each year. So in this first year in 2024, there will be half of the lawyers that have a 1-year 12-hour requirement. And then going forward from there, everyone will have a 2-year, 24-hour requirement. So you'll have about 15,000 lawyers in each group that have CLE coming due each year. We are also eliminating the annual report requirement. So if our system says that you are compliant with the rules, if it says that a lawyer's completed their hours, then there's no need for the lawyer to go in and click a button that confirms what we already know. This saves lawyers from getting a late fee for just failing to come in and click a button and submit a report. We will still be tracking the courses as normal, and a lawyer's record will still appear in their portal, and we'll be able to send updates to them periodically throughout their reporting period, but they won't have to come in and submit an annual report beginning at the end of the 2024 CLE year. We're keeping carryover credit at 12 hours, so lawyers can carry over 12 hours from one reporting period to the other, but those hours will only carry over as total hours. So the requirements for a lawyer to complete ethics and technology training and what's now called professional well-being, which will used to be mental health, substance abuse hour, those have to be completed in each reporting period. You can't build up those specialty credits and carry them over from one period to the next. So they can carry over 12 hours, but no matter what type of hour they completed, it will just transfer over as a total hour. One of the big changes that will have effect on sponsors is that we are eliminating the grace period. The CLE year will now just be March 1st, 2020, March 1st through the end of February. We have a 12-month period that, for 2024, you'll have March 1st, 2024 through the end of February 2025 will be considered the 2024 CLE year. It's 12 months. That way you're not going to have lawyers that are taking, two lawyers taking the same class, and one of them is applying it to 2023, one's applying it to 2024. We kept it, we wanted to have it as 12 months. And so the thought was, well, should we just do the calendar year where lawyers CLE ends in December? And thought better of it because of the holidays and weather and everyone trying to have to get their hours done right in the middle of December would cause some problems. And lawyers are really comfortable and used to the February being the CLE month. And so we've kept it March 1 through the end of February is the CLE year going forward, beginning March 1st. Not as important to sponsors, but we are streamlining the enforcement process. So lawyers who do not complete their hours by the end of February will get a late compliance fee, and if they do not then comply, they will be subject to suspension a lot faster than they are now, kind of combining that notice to show cause process with the suspension order. So we're not stretching out this compliance process through the end of the year that lawyers didn't complete their hours. Exemptions for lawyers will be all done during the annual report or the annual dues process, so they can claim their exemptions then. They'll also be able to claim exemptions in their member portal whenever an exemption arises. And that exemption is good for 1 year going forward. So if they claim an exemption for that year, their reporting period starts over again the next year, and they have to claim that exemption each year. Big one for sponsors, obviously, is the course application fee. And we'll talk about that here in a sec, in more detail in a second, to show you a copy of what the proposed fee schedule is going to be. But it's essentially $50 per course, no matter what kind of course you're taking or you're offering, no matter how many hours, it's going to be $50. Programs that sponsors offer for free, for anyone to attend, will not be charged an application fee. And all the courses are going to be searchable in our database. There's an on-demand courses are going to be approved for 3 years with an annual renewal there of $20 renewal after when you apply each year of that 3 years will be $20. And after 3 years, lawyers will have to recertify those courses to make sure they're still relevant. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Those are the big ones. There's a lot of other little small ones. We've changed the definition of that mental health substance abuse hour to make it more, improve the language so it's more current with current language in that field. It's going to be called professional well-being, but essentially still the same types of courses that can be approved for that credit. In the past will still be able to be approved going forward. So those are the big ones. There are a lot of other little changes, but the general requirements for lawyers is going to be 24 hours of credit over 2 years. That includes 4 hours of ethics, 1 technology training hour, and 1 professional well-being hour to satisfy their requirements each reporting period. And those the course applications are good for, it's $50 per course, and it's good for that whole CLE year. And if you want to renew it, there's a reduced renewal fee, if you want to repeat a program within that same year, there'll be a reduced fee for doing a repeat program. So here's some sponsor specific changes. So this course application fee, instead of collecting money from sponsors after the fact and becoming a bill collector and having you have to calculate your cost and send in a check after each month or after each program, we're going to have an upfront fee that covers our cost for reviewing and accrediting a program. That will be $50 essentially for every course that is due when you submit an application. This will be based off of a fee schedule here that I'll show you in a second. After that $50, you will not have an attendance fee to report. There's no cost with, when you report your attendance unless you report the attendance late. So you're not having to do any more of that calculating based off of attendance. It's just a flat $50 fee from sponsors to have your courses accredited. And there's no exception for out-of-state sponsors or anything like that. This is going, any course that you're going to be getting accredited, get approved is going to be $50. This will all be done in the CLE sponsor portal, including the attendance reporting. You'll be able to upload attendance reports in a portal, via a spreadsheet, but you'll also be able to add lawyers in the portal manually if you want to just, if you have just a few attendees and don't want to upload a spreadsheet, you'll be able to add a lawyer into the attendance, and that will, automatically get added to that lawyer's record. You'll have 40 days to submit attendance after the completion of a course or a lawyer's completion of an on-demand course. You have 40 days. So that gives you the at least 1 month end essentially to be able to deal with it. So you'll have 40 days to get that stuff in. And no fees if reported. There'll be a $25 late fee if you report attendance after 40 days. And the other part of that rule for late attendance reporting is that if you do not, if you're late on your attendance reporting, then the database will not allow you to submit new courses for approval until you are current with your attendance reporting. So we're not gonna we're trying to improve the efficiency of the attendance reporting by not allowing sponsors to continue to have late reporting. So you need to get that in within 40 days after the completion of a program. Here's the fee schedule that was approved by the board last week and will be submitted to the State Bar Council in a couple of weeks at their October meeting. This includes a $50 program application fee. And then each year, if you want to renew an on-demand program, it will be $20. And then after 3 years, you need to recertify that on-demand program to ensure that that program is still relevant, that the law that is being taught is still relevant, that anything, the materials are still accurate as to any, related to any changes that have happened since that course was first approved. And then that will be the fee for that course going forward each year. So it'll be, you get 3 years for 3 years $50 up front, $20 each of those other 2 years, and then it will be $50 per on-demand, to renew that on-demand course going forward. Our goal is to not have too many on-demand courses that are just rolled over from year to year that are no longer relevant or no longer teaching the right law. So this will require sponsors to take a look at their courses and make sure that they're still relevant and recertify those each year, determine whether they still want to have those courses be approved for credit. There'll be an expedited program application if you have a course that is within, you want to apply for a course and the date is within 40 days. There'll be an expedited program application fee. And if you do a course that you want to then, say you do a live course and you want to turn it into an on-demand program or repeat that course more than once each year, repeat programs are reduced to, within that same year, only a $25 fee for those repeat programs. Again, no cost for attendance reporting, and then there's a $25 cost if you do late attendance reporting. I'm going to take a second and check the chats and then see if there's any questions I can do. Yeah, so we will, the fact that you'll be able to do all this in the portal means that we are no longer going to accept physical checks. So this will all be credit cards or e-checks. There'll be a convenience fee if you pay by credit card, but you'll be able to pay by e-check without any additional convenience fee. All of that in the portal. The plan is to be able to lump up all of this stuff. If you can, submit multiple courses for approval at the same time, hopefully make one payment so you're not having to do multiple payments. That's the plan as we develop this portal, but we're moving away from the physical check process and the mailing in check process, which I know we've all been wanting to do for a long time. Let's see. What happens if a lawyer doesn't let you know that they want North Carolina credit? Well, one of the goals here is to get courses approved ahead of time, so we're not waiting to get courses approved until after someone takes it. And in terms of attendance reporting, it'll be, the goal is to try to get that information in a way that allows you to make those reports timely. Certainly the board has discretion in this matter, and we can deal with potential issues that might arise. And we'll keep track of that if this becomes a problem. We all know that, as we roll out rules, once they come into practice, there may be changes that need to be made. But the intent is to try to enforce this late attendance fee, and we'll see how that rolls once we get into the actual CLE year.
Peter, can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
We always have this happen as well. We submit our attendance reports, we think everything is buttoned up, and then 180 days later, a single lawyer says, oh, by the way, normally we were able to just provide that name and information to CLE staff. Will that still be the case?
Yeah, you'll be able to go into a course and edit it and edit the attendance if there's someone that is added, and that's not going to trigger like a late attendance reporting fee. So if something comes up later, then you can go and edit that attendance to add the lawyer or someone that makes you aware. So it's not going, if you've submitted attendance after a program and then something changes or someone needs to be added, that's not going to trigger any kind of late attendance reporting fee. It's really just, it's going to be courses that do not have any attendance reporting that's more than 40 days after the course. That's going to be the thing that creates a trigger. So if you've submitted something and it's not totally correct because you need to make a change, that's not going to trigger any sort of late fee or anything like that. There will be, if you have a live course, and there's no North Carolina attorneys, we'll need to, we'll probably have a button on there to say there's no attendance, that that way it doesn't look like you're late reporting. We will figure that out, and as we go through the process, to come up with the best and easiest process for someone who's offering a course that doesn't end up having attendance. So it doesn't look like you've failed to submit something, just some sort of easy, maybe a notification that can get sent to you, when it gets close to 40 days after a course, to let you click a button that says, we did not have attendance. Any kind of repeat program for free, anything free is going to be free. So if there's a question about repeat program fees for free programs, if you're offering a free program, there's not going to be any cost associated to it. We want to encourage, free programs as best as we can. The fee, a free course is defined as any member of the bar, is eligible to attend, regardless of membership status or annual membership in some program or some signing up or something. So it truly needs to be free and accessible for lawyers. So this is not, you can't call something a free course because you charge a lawyer a one-time annual fee to have total access. That would not count as a free course. It needs to be an actual free course for lawyers to be able to take, to be able to get that application fee waived. I'm going to talk about courses expiring 12/31 here in a little bit in a short-term plan, so we'll get to that. I see that as a question. We still do not permit the in-house CLE for law firms. That is something that was proposed to the board recently, and we're going to be looking at it as it relates to in-house CLE. And I'll be talking about applying for courses in 2024 here in the short-term plan, so we'll get to that one. Hopefully when we submit attendance forms, this is going to, it will go into a queue for CLE staff to just make sure that it's correct. And as soon as they check it, it should get automatically added. If you're uploading a form that is correct, it should get automatically added to the lawyer's CLE record. So we shouldn't have a very long turnover from, submitting attendance reports to getting it on their record. It's possible that it might end up being in real time. So, you're going to need to, for reporting attendance for on-demand courses, you'll need to look at who completed those courses within the last 40 days. And that way, the reason we added 40 days there is that you can look monthly and say, okay, who completed the on-demand course this month? You can look at the end of the month and submit that each month when you're doing any attendance reporting. So what I would recommend if you're tracking on-demand courses is just have your monthly at month end. You can go into courses and then report who completed them. That way we can track when lawyers completed these courses, and our system will not just, right now our system is just showing that the lawyer completed the course on January 1st because all on-demand courses are given the date of January 1st. We want to actually track the date that the lawyers completed those courses. So you just do that kind of each month and submit those in. In terms of the expedited fee, this is going to be, we're trying to make sure that, the 0 to 40 days prior, we want to make sure that courses that are being offered are be able to be shown in our directory. The question was for the YouTube people about the expedited application fee. Even if there's no urgency, do we still need to pay it? And that right now the answer is yes. If the date that you're wanting to have, present the program or show the program, if you're within 40 days when you apply, then the system is going to apply that $50 fee. If it's an on-demand program and you don't care when if you just don't care when it gets when it's allowed to be started, then you can change the date so it's outside of 40 days. But it's not really necessarily an urgency thing. It's about giving our staff the time that they need to be able to approve a course to where we're not getting rushed with course application fees, 2 or 3 weeks out of a course getting started and feeling like we have a very quick turnaround time. With the question about free courses and if it's limited to certain groups, I believe the CLE board's intent is that the course needs to be open and available for anybody to take. So if you say, okay, this is a free course that's only available to criminal defense lawyers, then as pursuant to what I believe the board's interpretation of that would not be considered an open course for anyone to take. We will certainly make note of that and make sure that we can confirm that intent by the CLE board on what a free course should be, how it should be defined and considered. Talk about the course approval period here in second for the new calendar year. The lawyer can still submit attendance, will be able to submit attendance that they have if they've completed an out-of-state course that has not been approved for credit. If it's been already approved for credit, then the sponsors will need to submit that attendance. If they go out of state and go to a conference that has not been submitted, the lawyer will still be able to submit those courses for credit and pay a $25 fee for that course to get approved. Lawyers will not be able to submit previously unapproved on-demand courses for credit. So you can't, sponsors will not be able to offer on-demand courses and say, we have not submitted this for credit, you will need to do that yourself. All on-demand courses that you want to be able to have approved by this CLE board will have to be submitted by sponsors. Now, you could submit it after the fact, but it'll still be required to pay the fee. So on-demand courses need to be submitted by sponsors. Lawyers cannot submit an on-demand course for approval for credit. Good question on the expedited fee for free programs, and I don't know the answer yet. So let me make sure that we know that. I know the intent was that there wouldn't be any cost for free programs, and I'll need to confirm whether that includes the expedited $50 fee for a program that's coming in late. Yes, so for a program that's less than 40 days away, it would end up being $50. So you have to pay the $50 application fee plus the $50 expedited program fee. And I'm gonna hop over to the YouTube chat here to make sure we got that. Course approval is still annual, so it's $25. It'll be $50 for course approval, and then the lawyer's attendance fee is still annual, so they'll be paying $25 a year. And it's in terms of late fee, it's just $25 for a course that you report late. So it's not going to be per person. It'll be late reporting fee for that course. Lawyers will be able to self-submit attendance, and there'll be a $25 fee for that. Yes, you could submit applications for live courses after the course date. That will still be permitted. So in terms of reviewing the on-demand courses, the on-demand process. So when you submit a course that is going to be on demand for approval, there'll be the $50 fee. And then each year before the next CLE year starts, it'll probably, in the fourth quarter of the year prior, you will go into your portal and select the courses that you want to renew for the next year. While the course has already been approved for 3 years, and you won't have to, it doesn't need to get approved for credit again. You don't have to resubmit materials or anything like that. You will want to, you'll have to pay the renewal fee to continue the course for the next year, for year 2, and then you'll do that again for year 3 of $20. on-demand courses, the original idea from the board was to charge a different price for on-demand courses, like $100. But there are some providers and some sponsors who maybe wanted to create an on-demand course, but really only want it for 1 year. And so this allows them to only pay that $50 if they really only want that course to be available for 1 year. You can go in and check the courses that you'll want to renew for each year and pay those renewal fees. And then after 3 years, you have to go in and look at that course and recertify that course is still relevant, and pay $50 for the recertification. And then each year after that, you have to recertify, because one of our concerns is how many courses have been rolled over from year to year that are no longer teaching relevant law, and that on-demand courses really probably shouldn't have a shelf life of 10, 15 years necessarily. So this requires you to take a look at your programs and make sure that there's still ones that you want to offer that are still good programs to be available for lawyers. The new portal should be active this fall, and if it's not active in time for any other conferences that are taking place in January and February that need to get added, then we will have certainly a new process, an alternative process to get these things added in time. Lawyers can take all credits on demand. There's still no cap for on-demand credits, so they could do all 24 hours on demand. This is an access issue. Some lawyers, solo practitioners, lawyers with young families, lawyers in rural areas may have a hard time getting to live programs. So we've eliminated that cap prior to COVID. It was very useful during COVID to have that cap eliminated, and we are maintaining that fact that there's no cap. So let me move on to talking about some of these specifics. I think I can get to some of these other questions here that I haven't covered yet. I'll get to them here when I talk about these sponsor-specific programs as well. So I think I've answered these on-demand programs a few times already. Have them be renewed annually. One of the rules for on-demand that I haven't mentioned yet is that you're going to have an approved method for reliably and actively verifying attendance and reporting the number of credit hours earned by each participant. So in the course approval process, we are going to have a field where you need to submit the way that courses that you're tracking attendance. And if when we're reviewing the course, it's a manner that is not reliable to be able to track attendance, then we'll notify you. But you'll need to report the way that you're going to be tracking attendance with your on-demand courses. Registered sponsors. So I know many of you are registered sponsors, and we're looking to try to improve that process to make sure that it provides benefits for sponsors and is useful for the state bar to have registered sponsors. Originally, we had determined maybe we should just eliminate registered sponsors in general and not have the distinction between a sponsor that's accredited and not. But we're going to keep registered sponsors with some changes. There will be a registration and annual renewal. There'll be fees, a fee related to becoming an annual sponsor and staying as a registered sponsor. This will all be done again through the sponsor portal. The rule is going to require that a sponsor to be registered, you need to have at least 20 programs approved for credit in the year prior. So this is intended to be for sponsors who do a fair amount of volume as it related. And yeah, they don't have to be live programs. They just need to be 20 programs approved for credit in the prior year. And you need to demonstrate a history of consistent compliance with CLE rules. This is in the board's discretion. The application will look at your, when reviewing the application, the board will be looking at your attendance reporting history and other compliance related things with the state bar. and whether, courses that you've submitted in the past have been approved for credit, and that you have communicated and participated well with the CLE program to be able to be a registered sponsor. Anyone who's currently a registered sponsor is going to stay a registered sponsor through 2024. We won't have the process for you to renew this fall, so we're going to grandfather everyone in who's a registered sponsor in through 2024, and the renewal process for registered sponsors will come out later in the year. Registered sponsors will still get the benefits of presumptive approval. And for anyone who's looking for the registered sponsor rule, this rule has come a little bit after the main rule revision. So that rule is still has just been approved by the council and is going to the Supreme Court for its approval. So it should be added to the rules here in a month or two. But I will be able to post a link to the proposed rule. You might even be able to find it in the proposed rules section on our website as well. But it will come with presumptive approval of programs as it has now. Registered sponsors and judicial district bars will be the only sponsors permitted to offer new admittee professionalism programs. And over the next year and going forward, the board has added to the rule that they may also include other benefits for registered sponsors, including other types of reduced or waived fees for repeat programs, potential changes in billing and payment structures, and other types of deadlines that will come for registered sponsors. So we're making an effort to try to have this process create value for everyone. And we will have more information on registered sponsors later in 2024. But anyone who is a registered sponsor now will get to maintain that status through 2024. Right now, being a registered sponsor does not waive your application fee. That it really right now is giving you that presumptive approval of courses and the authority to offer P&A programs, but it's not changing your payments for submitting courses for approval. Right now, there's no cost to be a registered sponsor, and so as that changes, the board will also offer additional benefits for being a registered sponsor that come with some of those annual fees to get registered. Okay, so now we're in the short-term plan. I know a lot of these questions related to kind of some of these short-term plans. The sponsor portal is in development, and it should be available here in 2023, even for you to use to deal with 2023 issues. The hope is that is up and available soon. I have some screenshots here. I apologize if law line's on. That's just the screenshot they sent me. You'll be able to track your courses in the sponsor portal and click into the courses to look at the details and edit any details if things change. We'll be able to click through. There'll be attendance on each course, being able to upload a certificate potentially. Some of this stuff is more of still in demo form, and we'll refine this as the development takes place. This is coming from the database, our database company's kind of demo development program. So we haven't really gotten in there to start to really change or test anything yet. You'll be able to make edits courses. We intend to have sponsors, when they're submitting a course, potentially also submit all the individual presentations in a course. That way, when you want to break those individual hours out into separate on-demand courses, you won't have to resubmit anything. It'll all be something that you could break out a long course into 4 or 5 on-demand courses pretty easily by just kind of checking the ones you want to turn into an on-demand course later. Uploading attendance, you'll be able to add attendance manually or upload an attendance file through the Excel sheet that you're currently sending over to Emily to deal with attendance. You'll be able to upload that on the sponsor portal. It'll show you a preview of what you've uploaded so you can make sure that it's correct, and you'll be able to process that and do that in the portal. So we're excited about the portal, and it's a long time coming, but it's going to allow for for easier, a lot more efficiency, paying through the portal with firm company credit cards or firm credit cards or e-checks, those types of things. So we think that this will be something that you'll really enjoy. The intent is also to be, so the question was, we'll be able to search for attendees by name or by bar number. I believe we'll have the opportunity for both. So if you don't know a bar number, but you know a name, you'll be able to search and then select that attorney to add to attendance. Or if you know by bar number, you could put that in as well. Looking for the new rules, we need to check and see if they're on the actual CLE.org site. But what I'm going to put the link in the chat for the rules that are on the state bar site. And it is in the for lawyers section, and you'll see the governing rules of the state bar, and you can get to those rules there. And I'll put that in the YouTube chat as well, so you'll be able to look at those rules. But that the current rules are in that rule search there. We have not determined what the registered sponsor fee is going to be. It certainly is going to be based on what type of benefits it provides. If it's not providing a lot of additional benefits, then the fee won't be very large. If it's not reducing your course application fee, for instance, we're not going to charge an amount that causes, makes it useless for you to be a registered sponsor. If it's going to change your course application fee cost, then the fee might be larger. So that's going to be something that's determined by the board throughout 2024. So short term, renewing your 2023 on-demand programs. We are still trying to figure that out, but you don't need to worry for your on-demand programs for that January and February period. That's going to be automatically extended. So if you have a 2023 on-demand program, it's not going to expire in December. It's going to expire February 28th. Or I guess this year is a leap year, February 29th. So that's going to be automatically extended. So for that January, February busy time, you do not need to get those courses renewed for those 2 months. We will have a process for you to get those renewed so they are still approved for credit for the 2024 year, which begins March 1st. We hope to have the sponsor portal available for you in the fourth quarter, so you'll be able to renew those on-demand programs, well in time for March 1st going forward, and so you won't have any gap in the approval of those programs, because we're automatically extending those 2023 ones through February 2024. We are not currently yet adding 2024 programs that begin March 1st. If you have a course that you need to add that is currently not available for 2023, but you want it available, you can still submit those courses for approval. We'll get those added, and they will be good for, through the end of February. But for courses that are going to be offered March 1st going forward, we're not adding those just yet. So just start keeping a list of those. Keep a list of the courses that you're going to want to renew for March 1 going forward, and we will be providing more information on getting those, getting that information submitted to you, to us, so we can get those, pay your renewal fees or whatever fees that need to be applied for March 1 going forward. We're not going to have those costs applied until March 1. So courses you're still going to need to do attendance fee reporting and all of that stuff throughout the remainder of the 2023 year. We'll provide some more guidance on all of that process here as we see a better timetable for that sponsor portal and when we'll be able to roll that stuff out. The question about being a third-party administrator for different sponsors. I think it's likely you're going to need to have a separate login for each provider. because the sponsor portals are going to be based off of the sponsor themselves. But we will certainly look at that and see if there's a way to improve it, and access for someone who's an admin for multiple sponsors. Lawyers have their own portal, and on their portal, they'll be able to track their CLE. They are now already able to track their own CLE, and add courses and submit their annual reports. They will be able to do all of that as well in the portal, just like a sponsor will be able to do. Lawyers will be able to go in and submit a course. They'll be able to claim an exemption. All of those things that they need to do will be able to be done in their lawyer portal. So that's already out there. We have a good new portal for everyone to use. And then the sponsor portal will be coming here by the end of this year. So the plan is to have another meeting, hopefully at either the end of October or early November, to present where we are on the sponsor portal and get some more information out to you guys. But any kind of future approvals for courses are going to be based off of the March 1 through February year. So if you submit a course for approval for in April for an on-demand course, it will be good through the end of the next February. So it's not you don't get a full 12 months. You get it for the calendar year in which or the CLE year in which you're submitting. So if you submit a course, if you're renewing a course, it will be good from March 1 through the end of February. Everything's going to be on that year. It's going to be a hard mental shift, but we all are just going to be living off of 12-month period. That's March 1 through the end of February. When you see something that shows 2024, that really will mean March through February of 2025. So everything will go for that 12-month period. Same question that we had about free programs limited to certain group of attorneys. I am under the impression that the intent was that a free course needs to be open up to anyone to be considered a free course, but we're going to confirm that with the CLE board at our next meeting and provide guidance to you on what a free course really means. Please have patience with us. I know this is, this is part of your, for some of you, this is your, your job, and this is important to get this right. And I know it can be stressful to know, but we're working through this stuff too. And we've drafted these rules, and we feel confident that this rules will really improve the efficiency for everyone. But there are going to be bumps along the way here in the next few months, and as the rules go into effect in March. And so really ask that you have patience with our staff, and if there are issues, if there is something that you think we need to improve, something that we need to change that's just not working or that is causing a real problem, then please let us know, and we'll probably have to make tweaks to this over the next few years. But please understand that we're all navigating, all of us are navigating this new world, and we're trying to get it right. And the more patience and flexibility that you can show, we really appreciate it. That's the end of my presentation. So I'm still happy to hang around here and answer any questions that you guys might have. Let me keep rolling through this chat. Please confirm these takeaways for CLE compliance. Attorneys admitted in odd years will have a truncated 12-hour year due March 1, 2025. Even year admitted folks will be due for a full 24-hour cycle 2026. Business as usual, this coming compliance cycle deadline. That's correct. So let me make sure that that's right. So anyone who is admitted in a even year, the last digit of their year of admittance will go right to a 24-hour 2-year requirement. If a lawyer is admitted in the last digit of their admittance year is odd, they will have a 1-year 12-hour requirement due at the end of February of 2025. And then they will go right to a 2-year requirement. So their requirements will be due every odd year and the even year lawyers will be due every even year. The reason we have chose those two things is that year doesn't really change, instead of going by somebody's name or anything like that. And that this means that all law students, new admittees will go right to a 2-year program in 2024. So people that come in will go right to that 2-year reporting program. Anyone who does a new admittee program should know that the new admittees will have that entire first reporting period to complete their P&A. They will have to get that P&A requirement completed by the end of their first reporting period. This presentation, the slide, everything is going to be available on YouTube for you to rewatch. That's going to stick around. If anyone wants an actual copy of the PowerPoint slides, I'll find a way to get that out to everybody if you want to look at the PowerPoint slides separately. If you have courses that, if you haven't submitted programs for approval to North Carolina, either you're just not submitting, you're having lawyers submit that. Lawyers will still be able to do that for the January-February period of 2024. And if you have courses that you want to submit for going forward, I would wait to submit those 2024 CLE year courses and for a few months until we get some more information out, and you can wait for that change to take place. There's no requirement on what a registered sponsor, who can be a registered sponsor. So a law firm could be a registered sponsor if you meet those requirements of the 20 courses in the prior year and history of compliance with the CLE rules. Let me flip through the YouTube stuff here. Yeah, so one of the questions about that rolling on-demand thing. So if you submit an on-demand course in January that wasn't approved prior, and it's a new one, you might want to wait until get it approved for the next CLE year, because it's only going to be good for the year in which for the CLE year in which it was approved. So it's certainly possible that if you submit a course in November that you haven't done before, you only get three months out of that year for that course, and you'll have to renew it again for $20 for the next year. Let's see, I had some more ones here. Sponsor numbers will be the same. We're not going to change that. New admittees will have to do that 12-hour P&A and then an additional 12 hours of credit to get to 24. So they're not satisfying all of their requirements with the P&A, although it is something potentially the board would be interested in looking at it and expanding the P&A to being a 24-hour program that new admittees can get everything in that program. But right now it is still intended to be a 12-hour program. For renewing courses for March, $20 fee or treat as, so that for courses that are already approved, we are most likely going to be calling that a course renewal for 2024. So if you've already had on-demand courses that have been around, it'll probably be a one-year renewal fee. And then if your course has been approved, is more than 3 years old, probably for 2025, you'll need to recertify. But we'll probably allow sponsors for 2024 to renew their on-demand courses for the $20 renewal fee. Once we nail that down, we'll get that information out to everybody on what those costs are going to be for 2024. Since you had it already approved, it should be more like an approval, a renewal fee. But we would certainly urge you to consider looking at your courses over the next few months and see if you have a lot of dated or duplicate courses that you probably don't want to have to pay anything for because no one's taking them or it's no longer relevant. Start cleaning up those on-demand courses for the providers that have lots of them to make sure that you can get that, submit a good list that is a good starting point in your portal for going forward. Yeah, continue to submit your payments and applications and attendance as normal right now because the portal's not available. So stay the course for the next few months until we get more information out to you. And please reach out to us with any questions about this process or how the short-term thing's going to work or how it might play out long-term. We want to be able to answer any questions that you have, and we'll certainly have another one of these town halls here in a couple of months to get that out. If you're doing a live 2024 course, you can that has not been previously approved, is not a repeat program, then you will want to submit that course for approval. And since the rules aren't really effective till March 1st, there's not a cost for that. For any new courses for January or February of this year, you're not going to need to do the cost, pay the approval application fee. And so you can submit those as you have been for 2020, for January and February of 2024. Anything new, you can go ahead and get those submitted. They'll just be good for that 2-month period. All right, well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I'm sorry for how much it was just me talking and we didn't hear any other voices or anything good. So if anyone wants to ask questions, email us. You can certainly review all of this stuff on YouTube, and I will send the slides out to the group that's registered so you can have a copy of those and share with anyone. I thank you guys so much for your interest in this, and we had 30, 40-ish people watching on YouTube and over 50 here, and so I hope that we can get this message out and certainly talk to your staffs and talk to your colleagues about this so everyone is aware that these changes are taking place in March. Hope you guys have a great weekend and look for more information from us soon. Thank you.